The air in my Palmetto, Florida home was thick with the scent of jasmine from the garden, but tonight, it couldn't mask the unease creeping into my bones. I'm Ellen, a 60-year-old homemaker who'd spent 35 years turning this two-bedroom bungalow into a haven for my family. The kitchen clock, a chipped ceramic relic from my mother, ticked relentlessly, each second a reminder of the life I thought I knew. My husband Frank had just stumbled in from another client dinner, his linen shirt wrinkled, his gray hair mussed. At 62, he still had that contractor's rugged charm, calloused hands, a warm laugh that once made me feel safe. But tonight, his eyes darted, avoiding mine, and a faint floral perfume clung to him. Not the jasmine of our garden, but something sweeter, sharper, like honeysuckle. It wasn't mine. "Rough night, Elle," he mumbled, tossing his jacket on the armchair and loosening his tie as if it choked him. He collapsed onto the couch, not the bed, skipping his usual shower. The faint hum of his snores started within minutes, a sound that used to lull me but now grated like a lie. I tidied up, a reflex from decades of keeping our home perfect, gathering his keys, wallet, and phone from the coffee table. His phone screen glowed, an email notification. Frank always said, "Ellen, emails for suckers." I'd rather talk face-to-face. Yet there it was, from moonlitwave88@gmail.com. "You were electric tonight, Pops." Pops? My heart stuttered. Frank was only Pops to our son, Ryan. I glanced at the bedroom door, his snores steady, and opened the email with trembling fingers. 4 words. "You were electric tonight." A pink heart emoji pierced my chest. Who was this? And why so intimate? I scrolled for more, but the inbox was sterile, suspiciously empty. My mind raced. Frank's late nights had multiplied. Client meetings in Tampa, 30 miles away, when he'd always hated the drive. I set the phone down, hands shaking, and checked his jacket pockets. A crumpled receipt from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Tampa, $165. Party of 2, Merlot, ribeye, shrimp linguine. Dated tonight. He'd told me he was in Sarasota. The wine was the one we'd shared on our 25th anniversary, a memory now sour. Who was he dining with? I snapped a photo of the receipt, my pulse pounding, and slipped into the garage. Frank's pickup truck was still warm, reeking of gasoline and that honeysuckle scent. My flashlight swept the driver's seat, loose change, a gum wrapper. In the glove compartment, my fingers grazed something plastic. A used tube of personal lubricant, cap loose, residue dried on the edge. My breath hitched. Frank and I hadn't been intimate in years. He'd blamed age, his bad knee, too tired from work. So what was this? I photographed it, hands trembling, and tucked it back precisely. Under the passenger seat, I found napkins, crumpled, soaked in that honeysuckle perfume, not my rosewater. I snapped more photos, each click a brick in a wall of betrayal. Back in the kitchen, I sat, staring at my phone's gallery. The email, the receipt, the lubricant, the napkins. My intuition, sharpened by 35 years as a wife, screamed infidelity. But with who? And why Pops? I checked his messages, work texts, nothing personal. His email was too clean, like he'd erased his tracks. The clock's ticking mocked me, the house's silence suffocating. I didn't sleep, my mind a whirlwind of questions. Morning came, and I played the dutiful wife. Frank shuffled in, grabbing coffee. "Big job today, Elle," he said, eyes on his mug. "Might stay late in Tampa." His tone was rehearsed, casual. I nodded, forcing a smile. "Drive safe," I said, but inside I was screaming, "Who are you meeting?" He patted my shoulder, a hollow gesture, and left. The door's slam echoed like a betrayal. I couldn't wait. I needed answers. I called my friend Susan, who'd used a private investigator during her divorce. "Ellen, what's wrong?" she asked, hearing my voice crack. "I need that PI's number," I said. "Frank's hiding something." She texted me Tom Reed, PI, 941550173, discreet. I called Tom, my voice unsteady. "Mrs. Morgan, send me what you've got," he said, calm but direct. "I'll start today." I emailed the photos. "Receipt?" lubricant, napkins, email screenshot, and waited, my heart a drumbeat of dread. At 1 p.m., I met Tom at a Palmetto diner. Its Formica tables and coffee aroma a stark contrast to my turmoil. Tom was late 40s, stocky, with eyes that saw through facades. "This looks bad, Ellen," he said, reviewing my evidence. "I'll follow him tonight." "Don't tip him off." I nodded, throat tight. "I need the truth," I whispered. He gave a reassuring nod and left. I sat, sipping coffee, feeling like a ghost in my own life. 35 years of marriage, raising Ryan, keeping our home. Had it all been a sham? That night I cleaned the house, the rhythm of scrubbing floors failing to calm me. At 10 p.m., Tom's message came, a photo. Frank in his blue button-down entering a Tampa restaurant, hand in hand with a woman. I zoomed in and my world shattered. It was Lisa, my 30-year-old daughter-in-law, Ryan's wife. Her red dress clung to her, dark hair loose, lips painted crimson. They looked like lovers, not in-laws. Another photo showed them at a candle-lit table, her hand on his smile tender, a look he hadn't given me in decades. A video followed, Lisa whispering in Frank's ear, him chuckling, a sound so warm it cut me. They left, his arm around her, heading to his truck. I collapsed onto the couch, chest tight. Lisa, who I'd mentored through Ryan's firefighting training, who I'd taught to make my mother's pecan pie. At family dinners, she and Frank barely spoke. Ryan once laughed, "Lisa thinks Dad's stories are corny." It was a lie, a performance. My son's wife and my husband. "How long? Why?" Tom's next message hit at 1 a.m. "They're at the Hilton Tampa. Room booked. More coming." Photos showed them on a balcony, Frank's arm around Lisa, her head on his chest. A brief kiss, fleeting but devastating. I replayed it, each frame a wound. Frank's gentle touch, the way he tucked her hair behind her ear, gestures he'd once saved for me. I saved everything to a flash drive, hands shaking. The house's silence was deafening, the jasmine outside mocking me. Morning brought worse. Tom's photos showed Frank and Lisa leaving a lawyer's office in Tampa, her in a tailored blazer, him holding a folder labeled Morgan Properties. A video caught them in his truck, Lisa marking papers, Frank nodding. Tom's note: "They're discussing transferring your inherited beach house. Mentioned a notary to forge your signature." My beach house, my parents' legacy where Ryan learned to swim, was their target. They weren't just cheating, they were stealing my past. I sat in the living room, the clock ticking like a heartbeat. Frank had never mowed the lawn or fixed the porch, but he'd smiled at family barbecues, posing as the proud husband. Now he and Lisa wanted my home. My rage hardened, cold and sharp. I wouldn't let them win. At dinner, Frank was chatty, oblivious. "Big project, Elle. Might need you to sign some property papers, tax stuff." His smile was too easy. I heard Lisa's voice in my head. "Hurry with the fake contract." I nodded, playing along. "Sure, I'll check them." He relaxed, sipping beer, unaware I was plotting. That night, his keys sat on the nightstand, his snores loud. I crept to the garage, heart racing. The truck smelled of honeysuckle and gasoline. The lubricant tube was there, freshly used. My stomach churned, but I stayed focused. I took it to the kitchen, scrubbed my hands with lemon soap, and grabbed industrial superglue from the toolbox, used for home repairs. I emptied the lubricant, filled it with glue, shook it to match the texture, and tested a drop. Seamless. I placed it back, wiped my prints, and adjusted the seat. In the trunk, I found more napkins, reeking of honeysuckle and a hotel keycard. I photographed everything, my evidence mounting. I set the fire trap, a skillet with oil, a string tied to the stove's igniter, run to the back window for remote pulling. A test produced thick smoke, enough to alarm neighbors without real damage. I hid a voice recorder behind a photo frame in our bedroom, Ryan's wedding picture, bitter now. It would catch every word. Next morning, I told Frank, "I'm going to Sarasota for a church retreat." "Back late." His eyes gleamed, relief, not concern. "Enjoy, Elle," he said, kissing my cheek. I smiled, but inside, I was iron. Instead of Sarasota, I went to my neighbor Clara's house across the street, a retired nurse who'd always been kind. "Ellen, something wrong?" she asked, seeing my bag. "Just need to watch the house," I said. She nodded, offering tea and a window view. At 9:30 a.m., Lisa arrived in a taxi wearing sunglasses and a floral dress. Frank ushered her in, checking the street. I activated the recorder app, headphones in. Their laughter rang, glasses clinked. Frank's voice, "No hotel today, Liz. Ellen's gone." Lisa giggled. "Finally, no old hag watching." Old hag. My blood boiled, but I waited. The bed creaked, sounds I blocked out. Then Lisa's scream, "We're stuck!" "What's this?" Frank cursed, "Hold still!" I pulled the string via my phone. The skillet ignited, smoke billowing out the kitchen window. Clara gasped, "Ellen, your house!" Neighbors gathered, shouting, "Call 911!" Mr. Diaz dialed the fire department. I feigned panic, my heart steady. The recorder caught Lisa sobbing. "Do something, Frank!" He growled, "I'm trying!" Sirens wailed. Ryan, my son, leapt from the fire truck in his chief's uniform, face tense. "Possible occupants!" he shouted, leading his team. They broke the door, hoses ready. Ryan's voice cracked through the recorder. "Dad? Lisa? What the hell?" A firefighter muttered, "Holy shit!" Another choked a laugh. Ryan roared, "Quiet!" The smoke was doused, just oil, but the bedroom was chaos. Frank and Lisa, stuck together, wrapped in sheets, were carried out on stretchers. Lisa crying, Frank pleading, "Cover us!" Neighbors filmed, phones out. "That's Ellen's husband with her daughter-in-law," Mrs. Rivera gasped. "Poor Ellen," Clara recorded, whispering, "You planned this, didn't you?" I nodded, silent. Ryan emerged, face ashen, eyes broken. I wanted to hold him but stayed put, letting the truth burn. At the hospital, I played the shocked wife. A doctor said, "Mrs. Morgan, they're separated, minor skin irritation." I nodded, swapping their ointment with mustard from my bag. A final jab. Minutes later, Lisa screamed, "It burns!" Frank cursed, "What is this shit?" Nurses rushed in. Patients stared. A man whispered, "That's the affair couple from the viral video." Clara's footage had spread, the town buzzing. Ryan brought the envelope I'd hidden, photos, videos, audio, divorce papers. I handed them to Frank and Lisa, bedridden, humiliated. "Sign," I said, voice cold. "You're done." Lisa sobbed, "Ryan, I'm sorry." He walked out, silent. Frank pleaded, "Elle, let's talk." I cut him off. 35 years ends here. I left, Ryan's hand in mine, his pain mine. Weeks later, my beach house was safe, the forgery exposed. Frank and Lisa faced fraud charges. She was pregnant, complicating Ryan's divorce, but he stayed strong. I joined a community garden, planting jasmine, reclaiming the scent. Ryan helped, his smile returning. The town rallied, calling me a survivor. My home, my son, my life, mine again. Life Solver's lesson at Life Solver. We share stories of resilience. Ellen's revenge exposed a cruel betrayal, saving her home and dignity. Infidelity affects 20% of marriages, often tied to financial schemes. Ellen's $165 receipt and a lubricant tube led to justice. What would you do? Share your city and thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and join LifeSolver for more stories that inspire. Support us with a super thanks to keep these tales coming. See you next time.